How do you handle it when somebody gives you some traumatic news? I remember when I was young, when I was probably in early junior high, and I fainted in the kitchen, and I just was laying on the floor. My mom freaked out, and it felt so good to lay there with my face on the kitchen floor. It was real cool. It felt good, but I had to get up because she's freaking out. So she would do that for anything like that. But when my dad called me and wanted me to come over because he had to tell me something, I went over there, and he told me he had just been diagnosed with lung cancer. And I said, okay, totally calm. And I know it's because she freaked out. So I stayed totally calm. And he was telling me what they told him and everything. I said, well, we can get a second opinion and we'll just figure out what we're going to do. Totally calm. Then my husband was really sick at a certain time of his life. He was just failing to thrive. And so I finally got him to a doctor. And he said, well, let's go to a neurologist. Let me send you to a neurologist so you can rule out Parkinson's. So we go to the neurologist, and of course he rules in Parkinson's. So here I am, my husband gets diagnosed with Parkinson's. I'm totally calm. He was totally calm. We went out to the car, and the first thing he did was apologize to me that I was going to have to put up with it and be part of it and take care of him. And then he said, well, since there's really no absolutely, Parkinson's is a really big, I'd say a big pile of symptoms, all kinds of different symptoms. And there's no absolute diagnosis of Parkinson's. And he said, since there isn't that, he said, we don't have to own that. And so for about 3 years, we pretty much ignored it. I never said he has Parkinson's. I said he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And for about 3 years, we just kind of went on with life because it was very mild. But then it started getting worse. In the last 4 years, he had it for 7 years, I think. The last 4 years, I got where I did have to have a caregiver because I couldn't leave him at home. And so we had a fabulous caregiver for 4 years, and that was a real blessing. She just loved him, spent a lot of time with him. And so that was good. And so, I was able to stay calm, but I just always stay calm with that. So how do you react to something like that? Put some in the comments about how you do if you got told if your mother's going to die or your dad's or you lose a child or something, how traumatic that is. I haven't had a whole bunch of that other than, my dad and then my mother had a brain hemorrhage and died, so we didn't even know that was coming up. But my dad and my husband, I did have this whole thing with. So anyway, give me some comments about how you react to that. And I just always thought it was interesting that I stayed so calm when things like that happen. And then I realized because I didn't want to be like my mom, freaking out and scaring everybody. But if you stay calm, then everybody else stays calm. And then you can just work things out and decide what you're going to do. So thanks for tuning in to Nonstop Aha Moments with Heather Clark, and I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.